What's going on, guys? It's Shane here on another car rental review. Today we are in the 2015 Kia Optima Hybrid. The Optima Hybrid has a few different visual cues. The front fascia and grille is different, along with its rear lights versus the NA versions. The Hybrid also comes with the unique rims. The car is powered by a 2.4-liter engine along with an electric motor, which has a combined power of 199 horsepower at 5,500 RPM and 235 pound-feet of torque at 1,000 to 2,500 RPM. You gotta love the music. If you don't want it, go ahead and just hit the mute button here. One of the things that's nice about the Kia that I do like on the steering wheel is that it has a good feel leather wrapped steering wheel. It doesn't seem too thin and flimsy. We also have a nice mute button here for those times that you just don't want to go up and down on the volume. It's very handy. So as you can see, the volume goes up and down at a good speed. But at those times when you're jamming and you really need to talk to somebody, just hit mute. The call button is nice and clear, green and red, and also your voice activation, which I haven't used. Over here we have our menu selection, and as you'll see here, we're actually going to go ahead and go through the menus. So as I hit it once, it's going to go through the service mode and settings. In order to go through all the different settings, just go up and down with the toggles or set. So we're just going to go to the next one here, which is going to be for the user settings. So I can go up and down using the steering wheel controls, and then go ahead and hit OK if I need to go in there to actually do any of my setup. So just read the manual, you'll get that stuff. Next area is going to be your energy flow. As you can see right now, that thing right behind the wheel, that's actually your engine. Then you have your battery pack on the far right, and the wheels are just telling it that it's the driving wheels. As we get going, I'll actually give you some tips shortly to show you how to actually drive this car pretty efficient. Again, I'm not the best hypermiler, but I'll give you some tips. Let's examine the interior, shall we? Since this is not the full model, it does not come with navigation, but it does come with a nice touchscreen mini screen. Now, you have all your exterior buttons, such as your volume is here, you know, and you have your seek and everything like that. But one thing that's nice is if you want to go into your presets, you can, just by simply hitting the preset button here. So there's some small features about this that's pretty cool. You can actually turn off that annoying beep. I just kept it on just because it just reminds me of getting annoyed, I guess. But as we go on down, it does have dual climate control, as you can see, which is very handy in these modern cars. Did not check the price listing for this car, but I would assume close to $30,000. As we go down, we have our dual outlets, which is actually very handy for other occupants. And then here we have the aux and USB. Now when I do plug in my iPhone into this, it just takes a second for it to read the content, and then it just plays with no problem. I can just switch from my media, and then that'll switch from, you know, my iPhone or whatever I have plugged in to my FM if I need to. Phone service, this does have a Bluetooth, and the Bluetooth headset works out very well here. It is kind of finicky sometimes. It will work, but about 90% of the time it will work all the time. As we go into the space is really good. You can definitely sit. I'm 6'3", and I'm actually sitting fairly close to the steering wheel here. That's just my seating placement. Gauges, nice and clear. I have no issues with them. That little gauge over there is one of the things that you're going to have to get used to. Now, this guy right here is basically a throttle position. Yes, that is thunder. Rain is about to come. So one thing about that that's really nice is that as I rev the car up, or drive, I should say, not just rev the car up, but that will actually go up. So if I'm light on the throttle and still staying in the blue, it'll actually, you'll see the energy flow. Either I'll be in EV mode, which I am right now, just using all energy, or battery, or you'll actually see the motor giving power to the wheels and or battery. So it's pretty cool. As long as you don't go into the white or red area, that's pretty much it's telling you that you're just eating up too much gas. On the another menu, if you don't want to see the energy flow, you can actually see what your trip and everything is. And if I go up to my range, right now you can see I've been doing a lot of city driving lately. On the highway, I got about 38.4 was my best, and then slowly but surely it's dropped down to 36.3. So right now the engine just kicked in, so I'm just going to change the menu so you can actually see how that looks. And now you can see that the engine is running and it's sending power to the battery because the battery is currently low, or only 4 bars on the left, and over here it's only showing 2 bars. Space-wise, let's check out the back. Space-wise, you can comfortably sit. I'm 6'3", and with my driving position, again, I do sit a little bit closer than everybody else, but even with my driving position, I have ample space here. I would say that I have about 6 or 7 inches of knee room space. So even if we have, or I say a regular seating position for a 6'3" person, you'll be good. It's good, good space back here. So what we're going to do right now is just show you the trunk, and the reason being is that the trunk is actually smaller than this standard. So the reason for that is because of the battery pack. So right now, as I kind of zoom out, you'll see some of the old space. So before it was able to go all the way back, so there isn't really a true pass-through on this guy because all the batteries are stored right here. So I only could actually fit my single suitcase. In the NA version of this car, I can fit my basically 2 suitcases in here with no problems. Alright, so what we're going to do right now is just do a little bit of driving. So as you can see right now, I just got to pull out of this parking lot area. But right now I am currently in EV mode. You can see that over there on the left hand side. And the car is just moving along, trickling along at about 5-10 miles per hour. As I start stepping on the gas, you'll actually see the blue gauge go up. And then I am still in EV mode because the batteries have a good enough charge to actually propel me. If I press on the gas more, it does still have a little bit of acceleration even in EV mode. That's one thing that is a little bit better than the Prius that I had the other week. The Prius actually in EV mode is very quick to get off of EV mode if you step on the gas. So as we go ahead and make a right, I'm going to show you a few things here. So right now we're not in EV mode, and right now we're actually just driving gas powered. So the gas is driving, the engine is actually driving the front wheels, and it's charging the battery simultaneously. If I go ahead and just do a lift, let the car coast, then it'll go into EV mode, and the driving wheels are actually regenerating the battery. So that's one thing when you're actually trying to hypermile this. Coast to when you can, so that way you can charge the battery. Since I'm here in Wyoming, one of the things that was nice is that all I had to do was coast down a hill for a while, and then it was able to just charge the battery. Since I do a lot of city driving now that I'm in town, I actually don't get that good of gas mileage. So we're going to go ahead and pull out real quick, and you'll see how it changes. So I'm going to give it some gas, and you can actually see where the gauges go. And now that I'm coasting, I'm braking just a little bit because the car's in front of me. Well, now you can actually see the car is regenerating its batteries. So one of the things that's crazy when you are in a hybrid, you have to be patient. The best way to do this is anytime you see a stop sign which is coming up, just let the car coast. Let it regenerate the batteries as much as possible. Come to a nice smooth brake, and sometimes I even do a little trail braking so I continuously move, and it's just in EV mode. Now when you're pulling off, try not to accelerate too hard like a regular NA, so that way you can use some of the EV mode. So right now we're just accelerating a little bit. There's nobody behind me, so I'm not worried about it, but I may hold up traffic a bit. So right now it's still solely in EV mode. As soon as I kind of hit a bump, and now we're going about 20 miles per hour, it's starting to kick in. So now it's just straight engine, and the engine is just powering the battery. So to get up to speed a little bit, unfortunately, I do have to accelerate a bit because there's cars gaining on me already. I'm in a residential area, but unfortunately, that's just how it is. So one of the things here, that now I'm going down a hill, so I'm just going to coast, and I'm looking ahead and noticing that there's actually a stoplight. So with there being a stoplight coming up, I'm just going to coast all the way. I'm actually going to slow down a bit so that way I can use the front wheels to regenerate the battery. And now you can already see I already gained a bar on my battery count there. So that's one of the things that you do want to do, is coast as much as possible. Take advantage of the properties of the car. If I drive around normal, I'll probably get about, the usual, just like the gas engine. But where this really excels is that you have to change your driving style. All right, well, that's my review for the Kia Optima Hybrid. Would I buy this car? Probably not. Would I keep it if somebody gave it to me? Yeah, it's actually nice. It gets over 35 miles per gallon. I've driven from Denver to Wyoming and been here for a week and only used a quarter tank of gas and traveled almost 200 miles. So, it's no Prius, but it is still a good car. Very comfortable. On the highway, it drives very smooth. No problems with that at all. Trying to accelerate on the highway is really good, and kind of like the Camry Hybrid. And it is a lot better than the Prius in that regards. One thing that you do lose versus the Prius, though, is about 10 more miles per gallon, because the Prius does use a smaller engine to do its work. And then you also lose storage space, but you kind of pick your poison what you want to do. But one thing on this, the highway drive versus the Prius is better. This is a lot smoother. The only thing that I would say is that they need to play around with the calibration of the steering wheel. The calibration, it feels like electronic steering to me. I have to do some research to see if that is correct. But if it is electronic steering, one thing about it is that it's a little too twitchy for this size vehicle. On the highway, I have to saw the wheel quite a bit. So I'm not really fond of that. I like it to not be that tight and that twitchy. So that's it. I will see you guys on another review and in another city.